everyone. Welcome to another Mind Power Monday. I hope you're having a great day so far and that, as always, you had a really great weekend, whether that was sort of rejuvenating your soul, doing something fun, getting something accomplished, working on your real estate investment goals, whatever it might be. I hope you had a great weekend. We actually went up and checked on our cabin. Hadn't been there in quite some time, so we went up to make sure there was no big water leaks or anything like that. Did some snowmobiling and had a lot of fun. So that was fantastic. We came home. I was up a lot of the night. Hopefully I don't look like it. My daughter has a fever, and so she's off getting COVID tested right now while I am here with all of you. So lots going on for me, and but super excited to be here today. Most of you know me. I'm Melanie Robinson. I'm a real estate investor just like the rest of you. Done several different strategies over the years. Right now, super laser focused on building my long-term buy and hold portfolio with joint venture partners and actually focusing in on New Brunswick. I've created an incredible partnership over there so that I have boots on the ground. And actually, we just, I got a message right as I was preparing, sitting there with my hand on my heart, preparing for all of you, that we are now firm on 2 properties. So this week, got my work set out for me, raising capital for one of the deals and a joint venture partner for the other. So good morning, everyone. Yes, so I've got an amazing week. Funding is coming through for our 4-plex build this week. Fingers crossed, it's supposed to be. And last night we got an accepted offer on our flip in Richmond, which has not been selling in the way that we had hoped. So much going on for me in the real estate investing world, and personally, fingers crossed that my daughter is healthy and doesn't have COVID. Lucky for me, I work online. So there's me as a real estate investor. Why do I share these Mind Power Mondays with you? Super passionate about the power of our mind, how we can either sabotage ourselves, torture ourselves with our thoughts and our strategies, or we can take control. Good morning, everyone. We can take control of our thoughts, learn to do that so that we can make life easier for ourselves, so that we can achieve our goals with some ease, with some control over what's going on internally. Like I just said, all those things that I have going on right now, including my daughter and all of that, I need to use all of these tools that I share with all of you. I promise this morning my heart was racing when I was thinking about all of those things. And then I have to bring myself back, bring myself to a state of calm, use my brain, recognize what I'm thinking about, what I'm saying to myself, and shift and focus on, doing one thing at a time. Here I am doing Mind Power Monday. So I'm super passionate about sharing this with others. I recognize the power it has. My background is in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, have a family business, my mom's a trainer, all that fun stuff I've shared all these years. But I know the difference that it can make on our success, on our well-being, on our happiness, and on our relationships, on all of that. So I'm super passionate to share all of that with you guys. So last week I shared with you, and I will read your comments after. I know when I do it, I just go off track. So I'm going to focus on all of you here, and I promise I'll read your comments afterwards. Last week, I talked to you about why would you even listen to these Mind Power Mondays anyways? What is my point in all of this? And I really urged you all to come to each Monday with, how can I best serve you? What have you got going on in your world where you recognize there's an opportunity for growth, where you recognize you could use some support from me, so that when you're listening to these Mind Power Mondays, you are sorting, sort of through that filter of how this can be of service to you. So hopefully you've all come today with, how I can best be of service. What area can you use some support? Because almost always, good morning, everyone. Almost always when what I'm sharing helps with multiple different challenges. If you are you need to build resilience. If you need motivation, if you're struggling with anxiety or nerves around reaching out to people, or all that you've got going on in your world, if you're lacking motivation, or you're recognizing that you're not, you don't keep with the motivation, you don't stay on something, all of those things, if you're noticing those things about yourself, you can take what I'm sharing today and you can apply it to your specific situation. So what am I talking about today? Today, we are going to talk about setting outcomes. And now setting outcomes is different than setting goals, but you will often have a goal and then set your outcome with regards to that goal. So let me back up and ask you, like, when you say you want something, and whether that's, I want to acquire a property, I want to find a joint venture partner, I want to get 10 properties in New Brunswick this year. And when we think on the personal health side of it, I know a lot of people are doing that 75 hard as an example. Or maybe you're doing an ab challenge or a butt challenge. I don't know. Whatever it is that you're doing, when you say you want it, here's the first thing I want you to do. I want you to check in and ask yourself, do I really want this? Because sometimes we say we want things that we don't actually really want. It's more that I should want to do the 75 hard as an example, or I should want 17 properties when maybe you really only want 3. So you really want to check in for yourself. And is what you're saying you want, whether it's small or big, whether it's real estate investing or personal, do you really truly want it? Is what you'd need to do to achieve it ethical for you in your life? Does it work with your family and your other responsibilities? Like, really check in, because often, good morning everyone, often if we don't succeed at something, it's because we actually didn't really want it in the first place. And I'm not saying always, and there are ways to obviously grow so that you can achieve the things that you want to achieve. But I'm just recommending that step number 1, when you're saying you want something, when you're saying you want something as a health goal, when you say you want something as a real estate goal, when you say you want something, anything at all, question number 1 inside yourself, and only you can answer this, is, do you really want it? Are you willing to do what it takes, and do you really want it? Or is it more you should want it? Because if it's I should want it, then you're not very likely to achieve it. And you're going to feel like you failed at achieving a goal that you didn't even really actually want in the first place. So you were successful at achieving what you didn't want to achieve. So that's question number 1. If the answer is yes, you really do want to achieve what it is that you're saying you want to achieve. You want to do that fitness challenge. You want to, acquire 1 property, 3 properties, 17 properties, whatever that might be. If you really do want to achieve it, you've answered yes to that question, then I want you to move on to setting an outcome. And what is setting an outcome? Setting an outcome, so you can have a goal. I'll use myself as an example. My goal could be that I want 10 properties in New Brunswick this year with joint venture partners. So there's my goal. Those are words. There's no feelings attached to it. There's no connection to that. It's a goal, 10 properties in New Brunswick. If I imagine myself after the successful completion or achievement of that, if I imagine myself on New Year's, on a video call with Ryan and Ashley, and we're cheersing champagne and we're celebrating. We did it. We got 10 properties. Oh my gosh, this feels so amazing. That was so awesome. If I imagine that, now I have something exciting. Now I have a connection. That is an outcome. The goal is that I've achieved 10 properties. The outcome is me celebrating that moment. And that's just a little example. If my goal is to do a fitness challenge, then my outcome is how amazing I feel afterwards, whether that's looking in the mirror, whether that's being able to do a certain number of push-ups, whatever that might be. The outcome is a connection with the feeling. So here's how you set an outcome. And I'm sorry I'm not reading your comments, you guys. I promise that I will. So share your thoughts, share any questions that you have. I promise I will get back to you on it. So setting an outcome is going, we say 5 minutes past the successful completion of the event. So here's the deal with setting outcomes as well, because I know you're listening to me through the filter of how can I best support you with whatever your challenges are. If you feel anxious about a meeting that you have with a potential joint venture partner, you set an outcome for 5 minutes or 15 minutes, doesn't matter, past the successful completion of that meeting. You actually close your eyes and you imagine being complete, it being over, and what are you saying to yourself? How are you feeling? What are you seeing? What are you hearing? Most importantly, like I said, what are you saying to yourself? And how does that feel after you've completed that call and you feel so good, that went so well, and you connect with the feeling of successfully having accomplished what it is that you want to accomplish? So you do that before you go into a meeting. You do that with the 10 properties that you want to achieve by the end of the year. You do that with the health challenge that you want to achieve. You go past the successful completion and you imagine how that's going to feel, and you play with it, and you have to be willing to play with your imagination, play with your thoughts. What are you saying to yourself? What do you see? What do you hear? What do you taste, smell? And you bring in all of your senses until you get a feeling, until you can feel what it feels like to have successfully completed that, whatever that is to you. So that is setting an outcome. You have your goal, but what does it feel like when you've achieved it? Because there's where the motivation comes in. There's where you can change how you're feeling about approaching a meeting. There's where you can build resilience if you're feeling down and you want to change how you're feeling, and you imagine having successfully accomplished something that it is that you want to accomplish. It changes how you're feeling in the moment, which means it can alleviate anxiety. It means that it can create motivation for you to take action. It means that it can have you building your resilience to overcome challenges. There's all sorts of ways that setting a positive outcome can help and support you to achieve your goals and to feel good in the now. So when you say you want something, number one, you're checking in and you're asking yourself honestly and truly, do you really want this? Is this a I should want it? Or is this a I really want to achieve that? I really want to do that challenge. I really want to organize my office. I really want to schedule meetings with joint venture partners. I really want to acquire X number of properties or doors. I really want to learn how to do ClickFunnels as an example. Like, do you really want to learn that, or do you want to have ClickFunnels and hire somebody? So I'm using all of these different examples so that I can help you recognize how you might be able to take setting your outcomes as a support system, a tool for you to achieve what it is that you're wanting to achieve. So number one, you're asking yourself, do I really, truly want to achieve this? If yes, then set your outcome different than your goal. It is the successful completion of that outcome or that goal. How are you going to feel when you've achieved it? And you can go all the way to you're setting your real estate investing goals, and in 10 years, 20 years, 5 years, whatever it is, what's it going to be like when you achieve that? Where are you going to be? What are you going to be doing with your time? How is that going to feel? Imagine, I don't know, being on that yacht with your family and friends and how amazing that is, or traveling, or getting a place where there's palm trees and sunshine more often than there is here in BC. It can be a long-term goal where you're setting that outcome and you're connecting with what it's like once you've achieved it. And it can be a short-term goal. I'm about to pick up the phone and I want this to go well. And therefore I'm going to imagine what it's like when I hang up. I'm doing a presentation this Thursday night, like a deal pitch kind of thing on an investors group. And I will be doing this. I will be setting the successful outcome before I do anything like that. I do it before Mind Power Mondays. I imagine what it's going to be like when I finish it and I feel amazing. I'll go to Thursday night. I'll imagine what it's going to be like when I end meeting on that Zoom and I feel really great about the presentation that I did. I do it with my 10 properties. I do it with my goals for 10 years. I do it, if I'm nervous for something. I sat there this morning, and because I've got so much going on, and my poor daughter, I felt terrible that I couldn't take her to her COVID test. It was at 9:45. I come on here live at 10. So I did it. I didn't want to be sitting here serving you while thinking about or feeling bad about my daughter. So I closed my eyes and I put my hand on my chest and I connected with all of you, and I connected with completing this, feeling amazing, and then moving on to the next thing that I need to do. So I'm sharing all this babble because I want you to recognize you can do it for your big goals, you can do it for your little goals, you can do it for a phone call, you can do it for a presentation, you can do it for anything. It's imagining the successful completion and you want to feel it. It's not just words. It's not just, I'm going to feel good when I finish Mind Power Monday. It's connecting with how good it's going to feel when I do that. For me, it was when I'm reading through your comments and replying, and I'm going to feel amazing. So it's a feeling. And then the last thing I wanted to share about that. So yes, you've decided you really want it. And if the answer is no, be kind to yourself. Be honest with yourself, because I promise you, if you don't really, truly want it in the first place, you're not going to easily achieve it. And then you're going to feel like a failure and you're going to feel horrible, when the reality is, if you were just honest with yourself in the first place, you didn't ever really want it. You just thought you should because other people are doing it or whatever reason there might be. So you really, really want it. You connect with a successful completion. You're zipped out to 5-15 minutes past when you've achieved it and how amazing that feels. And now if it's not something that's in this moment, if you're preparing an hour before, or if you're talking about your long-term goals, connect with it regularly. So this is how you stay motivated. This is how you keep getting up every morning and doing what you need to do to create the success you want, because you connect what it's going to be like when you've achieved it. And that inspires you and motivates you to take action and do what you need to do. There are times, all of the stuff that I share with you from NLP, it is taken from real people. These strategies we're analyzing people who were amazing at what they did, and how did they do what they did? What were they thinking? What were they saying to themselves? What were they doing that had them able to achieve their results? So this is something all of us do naturally, sometimes, or maybe even most of the time. When we really want something, we just imagine how awesome that's going to be. And we feel it when we wanted our first car, when you wanted your first house, whatever it might be, you just naturally had that. Well, here's how you elicit that at other times where maybe it's not so easy. Here's how you take something that is a skill for you maybe 90% of the time, but sometimes things are harder for you and you don't understand why. Well, you take that skill that you have and you map it over and you use it to help you in the areas that you have challenge. So when you're feeling nervous, when you're feeling anxious, when you are, lacking motivation, that's when you purposefully do this. That's when you go, I don't like how I'm feeling right now. I really do want to do it differently. So I'm going to think about what Mel said, and I'm going to imagine the successful outcome and sit with it until you feel it. And now when you open your eyes, guess what? You're going to be motivated, or your anxiety is going to feel different because now it's been replaced with excitement or whatever it might be. So I think I've said all that I need to say. That's your Mind Power Monday for today. Setting outcomes, different than goals. And it can help you in many different areas. So you need to be in charge of analyzing, where can this support you? What are things that you experience that setting a positive outcome for could help shift how you're feeling? Again, my passion is your brain, what you're thinking and saying to yourself. What are your thoughts, and how does that affect how you feel? And therefore, how does that affect the action that you take? That's what Mind Power Monday is all about for me and what I want to share with you. So you want to achieve certain things out there, you use your mind to achieve it, and you change how you're thinking about it to achieve a different result. So there you have it, Mind Power Monday. I hope that was helpful. I can't wait to read all of your comments. As always, please let me know what you think. Let me know if this is helpful. Let me know if you have ways that I can be of service and support you. Private message me, comment on here. I truly every week want to be of service. And if you ever want to talk about private lending or joint venture partnership, I am going for it. I'm getting at least 10 properties in New Brunswick. I'm also focusing on some bigger, exciting projects in BC. So lots of possibilities. So if you're ever listening to me babble on Mondays and you think I'd be a fun partner to have, or you are looking to invest your private money, reach out for that as well. Alrighty, everybody, have an amazing week. I know I'm going to have a really, really full, exciting, lots of learning, all sorts of different things between presentations and finding partners and finding private lenders and getting funding for my fourplex. I got lots going on, and hopefully I have a healthy family while I do it. Okay, everyone, we will see you next Monday. Okay, bye for now.